Hi, Dave Roscoe here. It is Wednesday, July 16th, 2025. And once again, there's not much going on. The big news on Pi is what's right behind me here. That's low price. We are now at, I believe, the lowest price we've seen, possibly ever. I think, I'm not sure. We might have seen it lower like really early on, but this is about the lowest we've seen. And we'll talk about that. So I put out a poll earlier today. I'm seeing a steady downward trend in the daily views for my updates, and I expected that. Here's what happens, right? People get all excited. There's a lot of things happening on Pi. People get excited. They watch the videos, and when things quiet down, people stop watching, and I get that. But when I'm putting out daily videos, the workload on me doesn't change. And if my views keep going down, you have to start questioning at one point whether it's worth continuing to do that format. So I put out a poll, and so please check it out. Let me know what you think. Should I keep with the daily updates, or should I switch to another format? And now somebody had said in the comments, I've seen it already, that if I put out different content about certain things happening in the ecosystem, they'd be more interested. And I'm sure the same can be said for a lot of people. The difference is that if that information is not out there, I can't report on it, because if it was, I would be. Ecosystem apps, other than letting you know they're out there, I can't really get that involved in that, because that would require me to spend time learning all of the apps and then telling them to you, when you can just go and check it out yourself. This is not my full-time job, so I can't invest that kind of time. I can let you know what's out there, but I have to know what's out there first. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Like I said, the price is going down. It's Pi seems to be standing alone in the market right now. In general, we're seeing bullish momentum on a lot of different altcoins, but Pi coin is going down, and you have to wonder why, especially considering it's been doing so well under the same price pressures that have existed since day one. And honestly, I think this is largely manipulation, and they're pushing it down because they're getting ready for something. And the whales and the exchanges want to be in the best possible position with regards to Pi holdings, because the volume is higher at these prices. So that tells you something right there. So keep an eye out. I don't know when it's going to break, but something's going to break, and I don't know where that's going to go. If you get spooked and you sell your Pi and then things turn around, you're going to be sorry. Let's take a look at the metrics. The circulating supply is 7.7 billion Pi, and there were 18,859 user accounts migrated in the last 24 hours. Totaling 5 million Pi. Now, I'm noticing a pattern lately, and it hasn't been a long enough pattern for me to say it's legit, but I've commented on the relatively low user account migrations lately, but it's been steady. And I'm noticing that the total migrated Pi seems to be holding between 4 and 5 million per day. And if that continues to hold, I think we have our pattern in that they seem to be targeting 4 to 5 million Pi, and then whatever number of user accounts that translates into is what it is. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if that pattern holds. There is 51.6 million Pi in the Pi migration wallet. Migrated unlocked rewards are at 2.5 billion Pi, with 6 million Pi unlocked in the last 24 hours and free to be traded on the open markets. Looking at the price action, the Pi coin is trading at 43 cents, which is down 4.05% from this time yesterday. And let's take a look at the 1 year. So the lowest peak I see here occurred right there. Okay. So the lowest price we've seen since the coin came out was 40 cents. So we haven't hit that yet, but we're at 43, which is the lowest we've been since we've established the floor that has been holding for quite a while now, which was around 44 cents. So we've blown through that. So now we're in relatively uncharted territory, at least for any sustained period of time. Now, I was at the Bullish Babes charting session today, and as usual, I asked her to look at Pi and give me her opinion. And she thought it very clearly showed what we call a bear flag, which means that the bearish sentiment would continue, at least in the short term, and that we'd probably be looking at a potential price target of 41 cents within the next several hours to today. The time frame that we're looking on is, I think she said it was an 8-hour time frame. So it could happen anytime today or tomorrow if it's going to happen. But yeah, 41 cents looks like the target for now. So I would expect this to continue going lower. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm just giving you information about how things look. The market cap is at $3.34 billion, which is down 3.9%. Yikes. And the daily trading volume is at $95.62 million, which is up 21%. Like I said, volume is up, even though the prices are down, which tells me that there's a lot of activity going on at this price level, and you have to ask yourself why. So that's all I've got with respect to Pi. Like I said, there's not much going on. I want to give you an update on my anti-scammer bot. I've got a victim that I'm going to be attempting to help this Friday, and I've got several others that are unlocking later this month that I've got in my queue, and we'll see how it goes. The latest version of my bot is insanely good and insanely fast. We already have one out of one success under the new version. Hopefully we can go 2 for 2 as of Friday. But I'm not stopping there. There is more room to improve it, and I am already working on the next version of the bot, which will see an even greater level of speed and efficiency. And I'm not going to give too much details, but I actually saw behavior in my testing that I did not expect. And leveraging this behavior will give me an edge over just about every other bot out there. I already think I have a pretty good edge, but this will give me an even bigger edge. And with some of the improvements that I'm making on the next version of the bot, it should be even better. So I'm really hoping to have more reports of wins. And I think as I get more reports of wins, more people will come to me and look for help. And I want that. Now, someone in the comments asked me if I'm going to do this for free and whether I'll charge a fee. And as much as I want to do this for free, let me give you a reality check. To run the bot, just to run it, whether I'm successful or not, cost me about $100 a month. And I'm not going to explain why, because that gives away some of the details about how this works. Trust me, I can show you the bills, okay? It costs about $100 a month to run this. And that comes out of my pocket. Now let's talk about the individual claims. Now, when you look at Pi, right, and you say, okay, well, to claim a balance or to move a balance or to send a payment, it's 0.01 Pi. And that's a low fee, right? Great. Things change a lot when you're running in a contested environment. So for example, you have a user's claim that's unlocking and 100 bots are trying to grab it. Well, those 100 bots are spamming the network with requests, thousands of requests. And the network responds by bumping the fees. And the bots respond by offering larger fees to try to get preference on the network. It's very technical how this works, but it's almost like an auction, and the highest bidder wins. I have seen claims, it's ridiculous when I tell you this, of 30 to 50 Pi in fees alone. So let's say, for example, you have somebody who's dumb enough to set up a claim for 10 Pi, right? Someone that just did it, right? And all of these bots hit the server looking for that 10 Pi. They end up paying potentially 30 to 50 Pi in fees for that 10 Pi balance. You've just lost a lot of money. Now, I would hope a lot of the scammers don't just reflexively add balances that are not profitable. But I just want you to know that if I am successful at recovering your Pi, in addition to the $100 I'm paying per month to run my server, it could cost me 30 to 50 Pi. That's coming out of my Pi wallet. It can't come out of yours because you don't have it. And if I win, I will recoup that. But I do have to charge a fee. And if you have a problem with that, then I'm sorry. You're free to lose 100% of your Pi. But if you want me to help you, then I will help you. But it's not going to be free, and I'm sorry about that. Well, I'll keep you posted on how that test goes on Friday, and I'll also let you know how things are going on the new version of the bot. But until then, don't panic, stay the course, and remember, the success of the Pi network begins with you. Pi to the moon. Peace.